Okay, so good afternoon everyone. So today we're going to discuss about the geometric sequence, to be particular with the topic of the nth term of geometric sequence, the geometric means, and geometric series of finite sequence. Now let's have the first topic, which is the nth term of geometric sequence. Okay, so as we all know, the rule of geometric sequence is that the nth term of geometric sequence with the first term and a common ratio is given by the formula a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1, wherein a sub 1 represents the first term and r is represented by the common ratio. Now let's have the example number 1. Write a rule for the nth term of the sequence negative 8, negative 12, negative 18, negative 27, and let's find the value of a sub 8, or the 8th term. Now, in this case, to get the nth term of the sequence, ang kailangan natin of course is the a sub 1 at the same time the value of the r. Yan. So, yun yung mga prerequisite in order to find the nth term of the sequence. Now, what is the value of a sub 1? The a sub 1 is the first term, which is in this case, that is the negative 8. Okay. Now, the common ratio is not given, but we can still identify the common ratio by dividing the second term to the first term, or the third term to the second term, or the fourth term to the third term. Okay? Or just divide the terms to its previous terms. In this case, negative 12 divided by negative 8 is equal to, since both of them are negative, so they will take a positive value. Okay? And negative 12, so 12 divided by 8 is equal to 1.5, or in fraction, this is equal to 3 over 2. So let's use the fraction, the decimal number. Okay, now let's find the value of let's find the nth term. So in this case, by using the formula or the general term, we will be having a sub n is equal to the first term, which is negative 8, times the common ratio, which is 1.5, and n minus 1 is just n minus 1. Therefore, the nth term of our sequence is a sub n is equal to negative 8 times 1.5 raised to n minus 1. Now, I want you to be careful in substituting the common ratio. The common ratio must be enclosed by parentheses so that the value of the common ratio will not change. No? Kasi if you're going to substitute the common ratio as negative 8 times 1.5, just 1.5 raised to n minus 1. As you can see, the base of n minus 1 is just 1.5. But if we're going to have negative 1.5 here, so negative 8 times negative 1.5, the base of n minus 1 here is still 1.5. But if it is enclosed in parentheses, okay, the base of n minus 1, or our exponent, will become negative 1.5. So you have to be careful with that. Okay, now let's get the value of a sub 8. Since we have already the nth term of the sequence, we can now get the value of a sub 8 by substituting the values. So you have here a sub 8 is just equal to negative 8 times 1.5 raised to 8 minus 1, which is equal to 7. Now in this case, since you are allowed to use calculator, you can just type that in the calculator. So that's negative 8 times 1.5 raised to 7, which will give us a sub 8 equals negative 136.6875. And that is the value of the a sub 8. Now let's have the next problem. In the next problem, as we can see, in example number 2, we have to find the nth term of a given term and the common ratio. So one term of a geometric sequence is a sub 3, which is equal to 5. And the common ratio is r is equal to 2. So in this case, we're going to write a rule for the nth term. And of course, let us graph the sequence. Okay? So since we don't have, we need a space for this, let's have, so in this case, ang given natin is r, which is equal to 2. Okay? And a sub 3, which is equal to 5. Okay? And what we are looking for is the nth term and the graph. Okay. Now, first, kunin muna natin ang a sub 1 at ang a sub 1 muna kasi 'di ba? We need a sub 1 in order to get the nth term of a sequence. So in this case, we will be having the formula a sub n is equal to a sub 1 r raised to n minus 1. Okay? By substitution, since we have a sub 3, which is equal to a sub 1, given ang ating value ng r, which is 2, and we have 2 here. Okay? So, bakit may 2? Because 3 minus 1. And this will become a sub 3, a sub 3 is given, which is equal to 5, equals a sub 1 times 4. By dividing both sides by 4, you will get a sub 1 as equal to 5 over 4. And 5 over 4 is approximately or equal to 1.25. Okay? Now, let's have the a sub 2. So, since may a sub 1 ka na, and you know already the common ratio, so a sub 2 is just equal to 1.25 times 2, which will give us 2.5. And you have already a sub 3. Let's get a sub 4. A sub 4 is equal to 5 times 2, which will give us 10. And a sub 5 is equal to 10 times 2, which will give us 20. And a sub 6, as we can see, is just 40. So the nth term of this equation is a sub n is equal to a sub 1 r raised to n minus 1 is just a sub n, and the value of a sub 1 is 5 over 4, and the value of r is 2, and n minus 1. And that is the nth term of the sequence. And as for the graph, so let's draw a graph. Okay, and let us have this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, since we have 6 terms. And this will become 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and let's have the 40. Okay, now let's plot the points. A sub 1 mo is 1.5. Ang 1.5 is approximately located here. Ang 2 mo naman is 2.5. So, nasa gitna lang siya ng 0 and 0.5. And then your 3 is 5. So, ang 5 naman is exactly on the spot. And this 4 naman is 10, which is in this location. 5 is 20, and 6 is 40. Okay. Now, if you're going to connect those dots, your graph will be look like, of course, kunwari na lang natin siyang, yan. So, your graph will look like that one. Okay? And for the next problem, which is our example number 3 na actually ito, So finding the n term given a term and the common ratio. So the geometric sequence is 500 and the common ratio is 0.2. What is asking is the 7th term of the sequence. So for this problem, let's write the given. A sub 1 is equal to 500 and then common ratio is equal to 0.2. What we are looking for is the a sub 7. Okay, so in this case, let's have the formula. A sub 7 n equals a sub 1 r raised to n minus 1. So by substitution, a sub 7 is equal to 500 times 0.2 raised to 6. So for the exponent, we always subtract it by 1. So therefore, a sub 7 is just equal to, so again, this is 500 0.2 raised to 7, which will give us 0.0064. 0.0064, and that is the value of a sub 7. Okay, next, let's have the example number 3. Finding the n term of the given two terms. So this time naman, a sub 1 is not given, common ratio is also not given. So what we are going to do is to find the a sub 1 as well as the common ratio, since we are looking for the n term of the sequence. Now, in this problem, this is very easy because you have already a sub 2, which is equal to 45, and a sub 5, which is equal to negative 1215. In this case, class, if we're going to look at the pattern, a sub n is equal to a sub 1 r raised to n minus 1. So if you have a sub 10, this is actually a sub 1 r raised to 9. And if you're going to look at the pattern here, the subscript of the a sub 1 and the exponent of the common ratio, when you add, will give us the subscript of the n term natin. So 1 plus 9 is equal to 10. By following this idea, we can use a sub 5 and a sub 2. Since we have already 2 as the subscript of a, then let's have the common ratio with an exponent of 3, because 2 plus 3, which will give us 5. And by substitution, the value of a sub 5 here is equal to negative 1215, which will be equal to 45 with a common ratio of raised to 3. Dividing both sides by 45, this will give us r cubed, which is equal to negative 27. And of course, we have to square root both sides to eliminate the exponent of 3. That's why the value of r is equal to negative 3. Since we have already the value of r, or the common ratio, let us now get the value of the a sub 1. Since you have already a sub 2, which is equal to a sub 1 r raised to n minus 1, which is equal to 1 naman siya, and a sub 2 is 45, and a sub 1 here, and the common ratio of negative 3. So by dividing both sides by negative 3, therefore a sub 1 is equal to 45 divided by 3 is equal to 15. And for the n term, so we're going to write the n term as a sub n is equal to negative 15, so this is negative 15 times negative 3 raised to n minus 1. And that is the answer. Okay, for the example number 4, writing geometric sequence. In this case, this is a problem. And in 1990, the average monthly bill for cellular telephone service in the United States was $80.90. From 1990 through 1997, the average monthly bill decreased by about 8.6% per year. Now, let's write a rule for the average. And let n be the represents 1990. And what was the average? Now, in this case, we're going to let's illustrate first the problem. In this problem, as we can see, there is a 1990, and that is the start of the date. And as we all know, it's from 1990 through 1997. So 1991, 1992, 1993, 1994, up to 1997. Okay? And as we all know, the average monthly bill for 1990 is given by $80.90. This will give us the idea na ito po yung A sub 1 natin. And this will be your A sub 2, this will be your A sub 3, this will be your A sub 4, and that is what we wanted to know kung anong value niya dito sa part na yan. Yan. So, ito yung hinahanap natin na average monthly bill. Okay? For the letter B. Now, let's write a rule for the multicellular pool. And in the problem, it says here, the average monthly bill decreased by about 8.6%. Since decreasing siya, the common ratio that we're going to use is 1 minus the B, wherein B represents the rate of change. So, gagamitin natin ito kapag decreasing siya in nature. But, if it is increasing, then we will be using R is equal to 1 plus B, wherein B represents the rate of change. Since, as we all know that this problem is decreasing in nature because of the word decrease, then we're going to use the common ratio as 1 minus B. So, ibig sabihin yan, ang common ratio nyo is 1 minus 0.086. Okay? So, it just moved 2 units to the left. And therefore, our common ratio will become 1 minus 0.086, which will give us 0.914. And that is the common ratio. Okay, in this case, we have already the common ratio, we have already the A sub 1, then n term will now be easy for us to give. Okay, so A sub n is equal to A sub 1 R raised to n minus 1. So, lagay natin dito. And what will be the value of A sub 1? That is 80.90 multiplied to 0.914 raised to n minus 1. That is the nth term. Now, for the average monthly cellular telephone bill in 1993, since in that case we're talking about A sub 4, that will be A sub 4 is equal to 80.90 times 0.914 raised to 3. And this will give us 80.90 times 0.914 raised to 3, which will give us A sub 4 as 61.77. So therefore, the average monthly cellular tel bill in 1993 is $61.77. It is what? Let's find the rule for equation in terms of m given the geometric sequence a and b. So in this case, we have a, m, and b, and that is the terms in the sequence. So if we want to find the common ratio, it's just m over a, or this is also equal to b over m. Since they are all equal, we can now manipulate this equation by having cross multiplication. So you will have m raised to 2, which is equal to a times b, and by squaring both sides, no, then you will be having m is equal to square root of a times b. This will be your formula in geometric means. Given if if dalawa lang yung if isang means lang or isang geometric mean lang ang hinahanap, you can have this equation already. But what if kung meron ka namang multiple mean na hinahanap or multiple geometric means? So this will be a sub n is equal to a r raised to n minus 1, and then you will have to use to get first the common ratio. So kailangan ma-equate natin ito in terms of r. So in this case, we have to divide both sides by by a. So that in this case, you will be having r n minus 1 or r raised to n minus 1 and a sub n over a sub 1. Okay? And then by rooting both sides with an index of n minus 1, okay, this one, i-root natin siya na may index na n minus 1. Therefore, ang value ng r natin is r equals n minus 1 root of a sub n over a sub 1. So, this will be your value in all, your formula in getting the common ratio of the geometric means. Let's have the example here, number 1, 16 and 18, and we're going to insert three terms in between 16 and 81. So that will be 16, 1, 2, 3, and then you have 81 here. As we all know, 16 is your a sub 1 and 81 is your a sub 5. A sub 5 is the last term, no? So yung n mo ngayon is equal to 5. So, using the formula of r raised to nth root o n minus 1 root of a sub n over a sub 1, okay, you will be having r is equal to 4 over a sub n mo is 81 over 16. Okay, so bakit siya naging 4? Because it's just 5 minus 1. So, therefore, ang common ratio natin will be equal to okay, so this will become 81 and that is equal to 3 over 2. Okay, so 3 over 2. Okay, 3 over 2 is also approximately equal to 1.5. So meron na tayong common ratio. All we have to do is to multiply this common ratio to 16 and so on and so forth. So that will be 16 times 1.5. That is equal to 24. So 24 times 1.5. 24 times 1.5. 36. And 36 times 1.5 is equal to 54. So if you're going to multiply 54 by 1.5, this will give us 81. And those are the terms in the sequence. So, ganun lang ang ating gagawin. Okay? I think you can do already number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, let's have the next problem of which is the geometric series. So, for the geometric series class, we have this formula that we have to use. Okay? Copy na lang natin siya. Okay, so we will be using this formula in finding the geometric series pala. Okay, for this problem, consider the geometric series. Find the sum of the first 10 terms. So first, in letter A, let's write all the given. Ano ba yung mga given natin? Ang given natin dito is a sub 1, which is equal to 1, and the common ratio is equal to 5. Okay, so since ang formula natin in finding the geometric series is a sub n, s sub n is equal to a sub 1 times 1 minus r raised to n over 1 minus r. Is it correct? Ayan. So a sub 1 times 1 minus r, the quantity of 1 minus r raised to n all over 1 minus r. By substitution, you will be having a sub 1 mo is 1 times 1 minus r, which is 5 raised to n, which is in this case, ano bang n natin? 10. S sub 10 pa lang hinahanap. Okay. Raised to 1 minus r. Okay, and by elimination, you will be having 1 minus 5 over 10, 1 minus 5 raised to 10, which will give us 1 minus 5 raised to 10, which will give us, okay, negative 9, 765, 624 divided by 1 minus 5 is equal to negative 4. So therefore, your S sub 10 is equal to, divide natin siya sa 4, negative 4, and that will give us negative 2, 441, 406. And that is now your final answer. Okay, now let's have the letter B. Find the value of n such that S sub n is equal to 3,906. Then as we all know, class, same pa rin naman yung given natin, wherein the a sub 1, ang a sub 1 natin is still equal, okay, so ang a sub 1 natin is still equal to 1. Ang common ratio natin is still equal to 5. Okay? And the formula is still there. Pero this time kasi, S sub n is given as 3,906. Okay? So, first, for the formula, we have S sub n is equal to a sub 1, 1 minus r raised to n over 1 minus r. Okay, by substitution, this will be equal to, by substitution, since S sub n is given, which is 3,906, and a sub 1 is 1 times 1 minus 5 raised to n over negative 4, since we have already discussed that. Okay, so in order to remove the denominator, we're going to do cross multiplication. So you have to multiply this one to that one, and this will give us, so ilagay lang natin dito muna para medyo malaki space natin. So this will give us 3906 times 4 is equal to 15,624, which is equal to 1 minus 5 raised to n. As you can see, ni-remove ko na yung parenthesis since you're just going to multiply that by 1. As we all know, any number multiplied by 1 is just equal to itself. Transpose natin si negative, si positive 1 in this case. So this will give us, by the way, this is negative pala. This will give us 15,624 minus 1. So this will become 15,625, which will be equal to negative 5 raised to n. Since both of them are negative, so pwede na nating i-divide both sides by negative 1, which will give us the positive equation. Now, in this case, we cannot both divide both sides by 5, But we have to transform this equation or this expression or this constant to an exponential form wherein ang base niya dapat ay 5. Okay? So how are we going to do that? 625. So we're just going to divide it by 5 hanggang sa ang pinakasagot niya na is 5. Okay? Divide 5. Then yan 3,125. So hindi pa siya. Now as you can see dito, 5 na yung lumabas at ilang 5 ba lahat ng meron ang nakikita mo dito sa calcul. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have 6. So therefore, this is equal to 5 raised to 6, which is equal to 5 raised to n. And there you go. So in this case, the value of n now is equal to 6. So let's check if it is correct. So let's have s sub 6, which is equal to a sub 1 natin is 1 minus 5 raised to 6 divided by 1 minus 5, and this is equal to 1 minus 5 raised to 6 is equal to 15,624, and this will be divided by negative 4, which is equal to 3906, which is the value of a sub n. Okay? So as we can see, here naman sa example natin, this is a sigma notation. Okay, wherein the meaning of, let's have the meaning first. Okay, so you have the sigma notation wherein I is equal to 1 and this is equal to 10. So ano po ba ang ibig sabihin ng notation na yan? Etong nasa ilalim na to, it indicates kung saan ka ba magi-start. At ito namang 10 na yan, this is your ending. So ito yung start mo and this is the ending. No? So you have 6, 2, I. So ibig sabihin, if you what your first term will be 6, 2 raised to I minus 1. Okay. So this will be equal to 6 to I, iyan na natin siya. 1 minus 1 na yan. 1 minus 1 is 0, no? So this will be equal to 6. Kasi 2 raised to 0 is 1 and 1 times 6 is 6. Then your a sub 2 is equal to 6 times 2, and then yung I mo na this time is 2 minus 1, which will give us 12. A sub 3 mo naman will become 6 2 raised to 3 minus 1, which will give us 24. Now, using the third terms, you will know that ratio is just equal to 2. So, since nakuha mo na siya, pwede mo na ngayon gamitin yung formula natin na S sub n is equal to 1 minus times 1 minus r over 1 minus r over 1 minus okay, ulit. So 1 times the quantity of 1 minus r raised to n over 1 minus r. Okay? And then by substitution, you will have 1 times 1 minus the value of r is 2 raised to 10 kasi 10 ang hinahanap, di ba? Over 1 minus 2. And this will give us, which since parehas negative yung lalabas, so that will be 2 raised to 10 minus 1 is just equal to 1,023. Sorry, this is okay. And that's all, class. Thank you.